Okay, well, I'm back here, obviously. The ridge running was fantastic. And I just wanted to sort of break down what I carry 4 days on the move like that. Of course, you want to be light because you're doing a lot of walking and there's no trail, obviously. This is bushwhacking from the start. I get dropped off and I get picked up at a predetermined place. And I just follow a topo map and a compass. Of course, here I was accompanied by another woods bum friend of mine, as I had stated earlier in the series. So I want to sort of show you a few of the things that I would take. His pack is sort of similar over the course of years and years. These things have been developed as to what I really like to roll with and what sort of suits my style. So, of course, I had my knife with me. And this here's been a shirt, and I've had this shirt for quite a long time. And as you can see, it's pretty ratty, and I think that this was the last outing. Now, I like a shirt like this, and the reason why I like a shirt like this is very, very light, okay? And it's summertime, and, you know, it gets pretty hot and muggy and pretty wet and things like that. And if you leave the shirt on, it starts to get soaked up with your own sweat. And any type of breeze, you know, or anything, this begins to cool you. And this sort of acts like a swamp cooler. This thing gets cool like this, and sometimes I can feel my earlobes, and my earlobes are cool. You know, and I know it's 90 out and it's humid as can be, but my body's being cooled. I also like this for the color because I can see things crawling on it easier. And well, this particular time here, I had a tick on me that I was unaware of, and luckily my buddy was there. I would not have been able to see it, and he was able to remove it for me. But a light color like this will allow you to see some things come up, yet it's still earthy enough to still sort of blend in and look a little bit natural. Now, my next shirt, I will probably get just a thin white button-down shirt, perhaps from the Salvation Army, and do a walnut dye and essentially, you know, achieve about the same thing here. So in here is where I kept my map, you know, my phone, wallet, anything like that, and in Ziplocs. This is a hatchet I've had now for a few years, I think about when it first came out. It's the Council Tool Hudson Bay hatchet, 1 1/4 pound head, I don't know, 14-inch handle. I will do a review on it at some point, but it is a fine little hatchet. In here is the trusty old binoculars, and this worked out great. Didn't end up running into any bear, and that was one of the things we were going to keep an eye on, try to stalk some down, get on a trail. Weren't able to this time around. We had some other things going on, but saw plenty of deer, came up on a doe that was left by its mother, and got within 20 yards of that, and another deer that was grazing while we were boiling water. And just anything, looking over from ridge to see things and get a general idea. You can see it on your topo map, right? You can see different things on your topo map, but you know, it's all together different when you can actually see through, you know, it's not good fields of vision. It's very heavily wooded, but you can sort of see, you get some pockets when you're up high enough and you can see some things. Plus, it helps you to be able to identify water and other resources without having to walk the distance to see for yourself, and then realize, oh no, I thought it was a birch tree, perhaps for some, you know, tinder. Oh, I thought it was a small pond, or oh, I thought it was a stream with water in it. And when you got to it, of course, it was nothing, and you wasted all that time and energy. This here can allow that. Of course, spotting, if you're doing anything tactical or you like to do any type of military maneuvers, being able to see someone or something stalk you before you know, it sees you. You being able to see it first is always a win-win. In here, this here is just a contractor's bag. All right, nothing more, and I like that for the clear fact of I can pull that out. It's right here in the front pocket, and that's where I tend to keep a lot of things that I want readily accessible. It's right here in the front pocket, along with this here, and I can get in there quick to see some things. Not always do I want to have the binoculars around my neck. They can sort of get in the way, especially if you're climbing up different things. And I don't want a trash bag in my pocket yet. I don't want to have to dig through here or anything like that. Right here, pull it out. We can sit. You can relax on a wet log or anything like that. And then in this pocket here, I had a 1000 grit. This is just part of the Edge Pro sharpening system. I have a video on this. I use these as field sharpeners. They're excellent. Daily, I use this on my Hatchet, which was probably the most used tool out of this. Just a little bit of spit or water, whichever you'd like to use. This here is a Spyderco double-sided sharpener. This is fantastic. Put a mean edge on something. And so will this. It's a 1000 grit. And then I have a hank of maybe roughly 50-foot paracord in there. And this here was garbage accumulated by both of us. As you can see, actually not that much. And you try to eliminate that before going out. You don't want all these packages and these different things like that. And Ziploc bags, as if you saw in one portion of my video, comes in very handy for water procurement. Gave us some extra containers to haul up some water. I put water in a quart Ziploc bag, put that in my billy pot, and I carried a gallon of water also in a bag, as you had seen in the video. Haversack, I've done a haversack dump on the Willow Charcoal series, Woodcraft Willow Charcoal series. Nothing has changed in here. I have a 2 flashlight system, which I also have a video on, and that's in here as well. 1 tarp, just a plastic camouflage tarp. I don't know, may have been from Walmart or Tractor Supply, something like that. And a nice poncho. And then down here, this right here is the portion of the MSS. And on top of this, and really no change of clothes, folks. I mean, this is, you know, it's just how it is. But I did have some just in case. And this is all the clothes. And the only thing I did was just change my socks, and that was the last morning. Just had a little bit of walking ahead of us, put on a fresh pair of socks. I knew I was out of the clear at that point. But if you do get wet, it's always nice. I have just a pair of long johns, 1 pair of wool socks, and a sort of like a fleece-lined pullover. And so I always know I'm going to go to bed dry. That is very important to me. So, and that is it. Of course, that makes an excellent pillow, and that's some of the reason why I usually just bring spare clothes like that. Of course, we have there are limited medical supplies here, just some things just to do some random stuff, but nothing too serious. And that is located up front here in this billy pot. Snap that for you. And this here is just a canteen with a nesting cup, and this here is another canteen. I like to have about it's 32 ounces, so 2 quarts of water. I like to have that amount on me. Now, in terms of food, everything freeze dried is the way to go. Protein bars, oats, rice, even ramen noodles, things like that. Things that you can eat without having to cook. The more of those, a lot of times the better, because sometimes you may not have enough water to eat. And that was case in point on our first day. We didn't have any dinner that night because we didn't want to go back down off the ridge to get more water to have to boil to cook any of this dehydrated food. If I said freeze-dried, I apologized. I meant dehydrated. And I do have 1 meal left that I had made. I'd probably make 2 meals out of this in here. So I had brought 3 main meals and then just some varying things, and I only had eaten 2. So we had to stay on the ridge for the first night, and the water that we had was just water we wanted to keep for hydrating ourselves for more ridge running the next day. So keep that in mind too. Are you going to be able to cook a lot? Are you going to be able to get a lot of water? Now there's a lot of water where I'm at and where I was in this particular instance. The issue is coming down a couple thousand feet out of these rolling hills and mountains, doing that often, that's going to tire you out if you keep having to do that. And so think about those types of things. Eating. Make sure you got some stuff so you can get by a night without having to cook. Things you can eat dry that aren't going to be too gross for you. I'm pretty sure that's it. I think I have it all covered here. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I know that I probably don't have a whole lot of any new information to show you, but if anything, it's just maybe some little tips and some little things that I sort of do, just in my experience, sort of just woods bumming and being comfortable, bumming around the woods, being a brush rat, if you will, and just hanging out. And after a while, these things begin to develop, and right off the bat what you take for a week. If I wanted to go out for a week, I'm only talking just a few more meals. Everything else virtually will stay the same. Maybe at that point another change of clothes. But you don't need to change clothes every night. You don't need to change them every couple days. Smoke baths are where it's at as well. Drying yourself, the sweat and scent off your clothing, standing over the fire, walking through the smoke, dangling your clothes in the smoke, hanging socks in the smoke. These types of things can kill some of these odor-causing bacterias, and usually you can just get by with doing that. So thank you very much for watching. Take care.